Imani Carter was 17 the day the world snapped in half. She didn't hear the crack. Not at first. Because some betrayals don't scream, they whisper. She was the kind of girl teachers never worried about. Honor roll. Quiet. Always scribbling in the margins of her notebook, not just notes, but people. Faces. Eyes. Emotions she couldn't say out loud, poured in charcoal and ink. Imani lived in a neighborhood that looked safe. 2-story houses. Sidewalks lined with mailboxes that hadn't seen bad news in years. Her father, Andre, was a mechanic. Up before sunrise, home by nightfall, worn down to silence. Her stepmother, Latoya, was always around. Always smiling. Always watching. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Mornings rushed by in cold cereal and static from an old radio. Dinner was lukewarm food and thin conversations. Her father rarely looked up from his plate. But Imani saw everything. The only places she could breathe were her sketchbook and Jaden. Jaden Thompson. 18. Track team. Easy smile. First love. He made her feel seen in a way she never had before. He'd walk her home, brush her hand on purpose, and wait until she stepped inside just to send a message, "You looked beautiful today." Even when you were mad at geometry. For a while, it felt like safety. Like maybe she could build something that wasn't already broken. But then things started to shift. Jaden's texts became shorter. His tone clipped. He started replying hours later. His voice on the phone didn't sound like the boy who made her laugh in the hallways. And Latoya started smelling like vanilla cedarwood. The same cologne Imani had saved up for and given Jaden on his birthday. At first, she told herself it was coincidence. That perfume can smell the same. That she was imagining it. But the scent lingered too long in the hallway. On Latoya's scarf. In the air right after she passed. Then there were the smiles. Too wide. Too knowing. Sometimes Latoya would pick up Imani's phone by mistake. Sometimes Jaden would cancel on her, and hours later, she'd see him tagged in blurry photos, sitting too close to someone, laughing too easily. Then came the silence. Awkward pauses when she entered the room. Latoya setting down her phone too fast. Jaden refusing to meet her eyes. One afternoon, she came home early. The living room was empty. The TV was on. 2 mugs on the coffee table. One of them still warm. Jaden's hoodie was draped over the arm of the couch. Later that night, Latoya stood in the kitchen, scrolling her phone and laughing softly. The screen lit up with Jaden's name. Imani didn't say anything. But something inside her moved. It didn't snap. Not yet. But it started to shift. She had no idea that her smile at school that morning would be the last innocent moment of her life. If real stories like this give you chills, subscribe to Shocking True Crime Saga. Because the scariest betrayals don't come from strangers. They come from home. Latoya's voice starts showing up in places it doesn't belong. She leans over Imani's shoulder one afternoon while Imani texts Jaden. Her breath is warm, too close. She laughs, says, "You two are cute," then walks away before Imani can answer. The next day, she asks what Jaden's favorite food is. The day after, it's what kind of music he listens to. And then, casually, as she stirs her tea, "Do you trust him?" It sounds like small talk. But something's off. The way she lingers after asking. The way she watches Imani's reaction instead of listening to the answer. Imani brushes it off. Until it happens again. And again. At school, Jaden starts pulling away. Not enough to break things. Just enough to make her doubt the ground under her feet. He kisses her cheek instead of her lips. He forgets their anniversary. He texts back late. And always says he's tired. The Friday it hits her hardest is the night she sees them. Imani comes outside to get her charger from the car. The porch light is dim. The air smells like fresh-cut grass and warm pavement. Latoya is standing in the driveway with Jaden, too close, laughing. Her hand is on his arm. Jaden shifts when he sees Imani. Pulls back. Fast. They both say it's nothing. That they were just talking. Jaden walks her back inside, makes a joke. Says, "Your stepmom's just friendly." But Imani hears the strain in his voice. The way his laugh doesn't reach his eyes. Later that night, she asks him. Straight up. "Is there something going on between you and Latoya?" He looks at her. Then away. The silence between them hums. He says no. But not like someone telling the truth. More like someone trying to believe their own lie. She nods. Doesn't push. But something sinks inside her. Heavy. Settling in the pit of her chest like wet concrete. She tells herself she's imagining it. That Latoya is just overbearing. That Jaden's just distracted. That being kind is safer than being suspicious. Even when her gut twists in silence. Even when her hands start shaking for no reason. Even when she can't stop picturing the way Latoya smiled at him, not like a parent, not like a friend, but like she'd already chosen him. And she didn't care who she had to betray to have him. Tasha is the first one to say it out loud. They're in the library, pretending to study, their math books open but untouched. Imani's phone lights up with another cancelled message. "Jaden, can't make it. Something came up." Tasha leans in, her voice low. "Girl, he ain't acting right. You know that, right?" Imani forces a smile. Says he's just busy. Says it's nothing. But the words feel hollow coming out. Jaden's texts don't sound like him anymore. Cold. Rushed. Distant. He used to send her voice notes, now it's just dots. Delivered. Read. No reply. He cancels on her Saturday. And again the following Tuesday. No explanations. Just, next time. When she sees him at school, he avoids her eyes. Says he forgot about the movie they planned. Forgot? Jaden never forgot anything. Not before. Latoya, meanwhile, is everywhere. She offers to drive Imani to school, even though she never used to. She walks into Imani's room unannounced. Starts doing her laundry. Folds it wrong. Touches things she shouldn't. One morning, Imani finds Latoya holding her phone. Says she thought it was hers. Laughs it off. Imani knows the passcode is different. Everywhere Imani turns, Latoya is closer. Jaden is farther. And something between them all is shifting, too slowly to scream, but fast enough to suffocate. Then the turning point. A Thursday afternoon. School ends early for a teacher workday. Imani doesn't tell anyone. She just walks home. The house is quiet when she unlocks the door. But something's wrong. There's music playing low in the living room. A blanket folded on the couch, still warm. 2 coffee mugs on the table. One has lipstick on the rim. The other, the one Jaden always uses. The navy blue one she bought for him after their first month together. His hoodie is on the back of the chair. Imani doesn't move. She doesn't call out. She stands there, heart cracking in her chest, trying to piece together what this moment means. Who was here? Who let them in? Who had the code to the back door besides her? He knew her schedule. Her classes. Her patterns. Her father wasn't home. And now, someone else did too. She walks upstairs. Every step heavier than the last. Nothing is out of place. But nothing feels right. Later, she texts Jaden. Asks what he did that afternoon. He says he stayed home. She doesn't respond. She just stares at the coffee mugs. At the couch. At the silence that no longer feels safe. Imani stops eating without noticing. Her sketchbook stays blank for days. The pencil she usually clutches like a lifeline is left untouched on her desk. Nights blur into mornings. Her sleep is shallow, interrupted by phantom phone vibrations that never come. She starts checking Jaden's socials every hour. Then every half hour. Then she starts watching who likes his posts. Who comments. Who follows him. One night, deep in a scroll, she stumbles across something that doesn't belong. A new account. No profile picture. Just one post. It's a selfie. Taken in her house. In her room. LaToya, standing in front of the mirror, wearing Jaden's varsity jacket. The same one he told Imani he lost. The caption reads, "Some things fit better on me anyway," winky face, Imani can't breathe. She grabs her phone, calls Jaden. He picks up on the third ring, voice groggy like he's just woken up. She asks about the jacket. About the picture. About the account. He laughs. Tells her it's fake. Says she's reaching. Says, "Why would my girlfriend be stalking some random burner page?" She tells him she saw it. That it's LaToya. That the jacket is his. He says she's paranoid. That she needs to stop making things up. That maybe she should take a break, from him. From everything. Then he hangs up. Imani stares at the screen, heart pounding, mind racing. She wants to cry but can't. Wants to scream but doesn't. Instead, she just sits in the dark and refreshes the page. Again. And again. And again. 3 nights later, she hears them. It's after midnight. Her father's out of town for a job. The house is quiet, too quiet. Imani's door is slightly open. She hears footsteps. Then a low murmur from downstairs. She freezes. She recognizes the voice immediately. Jaden. Then, a soft giggle. LaToya. It rises, light and airy, like steam from boiling water. Familiar. Intimate. The kind of laugh that used to be meant for her. She moves toward the stairs, bare feet silent on the carpet. She stops at the top, heart hammering. Their voices are muffled, but the tone cuts through the air like glass. She doesn't go down. Doesn't confront them. She just stands there, gripping the railing like it's the only thing keeping her from collapsing. She stays there for what feels like hours. Listening to pieces of her trust dissolve. She doesn't sleep that night. Her eyes stay open until the first gray light slips through her blinds. The house smells like perfume that doesn't belong to her. Her phone doesn't ring once. And she knows. It wasn't just betrayal. It was invasion. And it wore a smile like a mask. Imani doesn't know why she says yes. Jaden texts her out of nowhere. No apology. No explanation. Just, "Let's get ice cream." Just us. She stares at the message for a full minute. Her thumb hovers. Then presses send. Okay. She wears the blue hoodie he gave her last year. The one that still smells like hope. She brushes her hair like it matters. Pretends her reflection still looks like someone who's enough. When he picks her up, he doesn't mention the silence that stretched between them for days. He just plays their old playlist in the car, like they're driving backward into a time before everything cracked open. They go to a diner where the booths are peeling and the lights flicker like they're tired of pretending to. They order 1 milkshake, 2 straws, like they used to. He jokes about the whipped cream. She laughs. It sounds unfamiliar in her own ears. For 20 minutes, they pretend. They sip. Smile. Remember what it felt like to belong to each other. She leans her head on his shoulder in the booth, and he doesn't pull away. She wants to ask where he's been. Why he lied. What LaToya means to him. But the words would break this fragile thing they've built in the space of a half-melted dessert. So she stays quiet. She lets the silence hold them both like it used to. When he drops her off, he kisses her forehead. Not her lips. But softly. Like he's sorry, but not sorry enough. She watches him drive away. For a second, she convinces herself maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe LaToya's the one who crossed the line. Maybe Jaden never wanted this. Maybe he was pulled into something. Maybe he's still hers. She walks up the driveway slowly, key in hand. Inside the house, the lights are off. Curtains pulled. But behind one of them, movement. LaToya. Watching. Just for a second, their eyes meet. And in LaToya's face, there's no shame. No guilt. Only something that looks disturbingly like satisfaction. Imani turns away. She doesn't cry. But something in her chest goes quiet. Not gone. Just waiting. It was the first time she'd laughed in weeks. And the last time she'd trust her own heart. The morning is colder than usual. Imani moves like a ghost through the house, backpack slung over her shoulder, keys in hand, shoes laced tight. She says goodbye out loud, even though no one responds. She opens the front door. Closes it hard enough to echo. Then she turns. Quiet. Careful. Back up the stairs. She doesn't go to school. She doesn't even go far. Imani slips into her closet and leaves the door slightly cracked. The only light is from her phone, already set to record. No sound. Just red numbers counting upward. She waits. It doesn't take long. 30 minutes later, the back door clicks open. Footsteps. Not rushed. Familiar. A laugh. LaToya. A deeper voice follows. Soft. Confident. Jaden. Imani feels her pulse spike, but her hands don't shake. Not this time. Something inside her has calcified. Hardened into something colder than anger. She hears movement down the hall. Floorboards creak. The door to her father's bedroom opens. Then moaning. Soft at first. Then louder. Rhythmic. Imani's legs move before she tells them to. Out of the closet. Down the hallway. She doesn't pause. She kicks open the door. The camera catches everything. Jaden. Shirtless. Stumbling off the bed. LaToya. In nothing but a sheet, laughing before she even realizes who's in the doorway. The smirk is instant. Shameless. Jaden's mouth opens, but no words come out. Imani holds up the phone, the red recording light glowing in the dim room. Say something, she whispers. Neither of them does. She doesn't cry, not yet. She just backs away, phone still in hand. Her breath ragged, coming out in gasps. She turns and runs. Out the front door. Into the street. Down the block. Her world isn't shattering. It's already shattered. She just finally saw the pieces. Later that night, no one calls her. No apology. No explanation. Not from Jaden. Not from LaToya. Not even from her father, who still doesn't know what was done under his own roof. She had finally said no. But in their eyes, her heartbreak was entertainment. 2 days pass. Imani does not speak. Not to her father. Not to Tasha. Not even to herself. She moves through the house like a shadow in her own skin. Her mouth is dry. Her stomach aches from emptiness, but the hunger never arrives. There's no appetite left in her body. Only silence. Her father is out of town, fixing a busted engine 3 cities away. He doesn't know the world burned in his bedroom. Latoya acts as if nothing happened. She sings while she cooks. Sets out 2 plates for dinner, one for herself, one for Imani. As if betrayal can be washed off with dish soap and laughter. Jaden sends one message. Just one. It's not what you think. Imani stares at the screen. She doesn't reply. Because it's exactly what she thinks. And worse. She goes to her father's room. Opens the top drawer of his dresser. She's never been in this drawer before. But she knows what's in it. Every child raised in a house like hers knows which drawers aren't meant to be opened. There it is. Black. Heavy. Cold. Wrapped in an old t-shirt like it's just another tool. No lockbox. No safety. Her hand doesn't shake when she picks it up. Her breathing stays even. That night, she waits. She doesn't plan it like a killer. She doesn't write a note. She doesn't make a list. She just listens. And waits. And when the door creaks open past midnight, she knows. They thought she was asleep. She hears them in the living room. Whispering. Laughing. Then, kissing. Again. Jaden. Latoya. Like nothing's changed. Like the blood in her chest is invisible. Like the video meant nothing. Like she means nothing. She steps into the hallway. Her bare feet on the wooden floor make no sound. The gun is in her hand, wrapped in the same shirt. She turns the corner and sees them. Jaden's arms around Latoya. Latoya's hand on his face. Her heart does not pound. Her mind does not race. She feels clear. She drops the shirt. They turn. Jaden's eyes widen. Latoya gasps. Imani raises the gun. Jaden moves first, tries to reach for her. A single shot. Latoya falls. The smile is still on her face when she hits the floor. Jaden freezes. His hands rise, trembling. Another shot. He stumbles back, hits the wall, slides down, gasping. Imani doesn't move. Doesn't scream. Doesn't cry. Somewhere, a neighbor shouts. Tires squeal outside. Then sirens. The lights flood through the windows too bright, too late. Imani drops the gun. And sits down on the carpet. She doesn't try to run. She doesn't say a word. She said she wanted the pain to stop. And the silence to mean something. The red and blue lights paint the walls of the living room like a war zone. Sirens wail. Tires screech. Neighbors gather in nightclothes, mouths open, hands over hearts. But inside, it is quiet. Imani sits on the floor, back against the couch. The gun rests beside her, still warm. Her hands are open. Her face blank. Her lips move, barely a whisper. She took everything. The officers enter with caution, weapons drawn, barking orders. But Imani doesn't move. She raises her hands slowly, eyes unfocused. One of the officers kneels, speaks gently, but she doesn't hear him. Her voice is still caught in that one sentence. She took everything. Paramedics swarm the room. Latoya lies face down in a pool of blood, unmoving. The sheet she once wore wrapped around her like silk now clings like a shroud. Dead on impact. Jaden moans from across the room, slumped against the wall. The bullet grazed his shoulder. Enough to scar, not enough to stop his testimony. Imani is taken in without a struggle. Her wrists are cuffed. Her eyes never leave the space where Latoya fell. At the station, they search her backpack. Inside are her sketchbooks. Page after page of faces, shaded, smudged, silent. But toward the back, something shifts. Latoya's face, again and again. Each time marked with a red X. Some pages torn. Others soaked in ink that looks almost like dried blood. In the interrogation room, Imani sits under buzzing fluorescent lights. Her clothes still stained. Her eyes hollow. She does not ask for a lawyer. She does not ask for her father. She does not cry. She just stares. When they ask why, she doesn't answer. Not at first. Only when the room is quiet enough to hear the hum of the AC does she finally speak. She smiled when I walked in. The news breaks within hours. Teen girl kills stepmother, shoots boyfriend in love triangle gone wrong. Jaden gives his testimony from a hospital bed. He says he didn't know what was happening. Says he was manipulated. Says he's the real victim. Social media eats it alive. Everyone has a theory. A headline. A judgment. Pictures of Imani's artwork go viral. One sketch, of Latoya with her mouth sewn shut, is plastered across the internet like evidence of a prophecy. Her trial begins 5 weeks later. Courtroom packed. Reporters outside. Protesters on both sides holding signs, some with her face, some with Latoya's. Imani wears the same expression every day. Quiet. Watchful. As if she's waiting for someone to finally tell the truth. When she takes the stand, the room holds its breath. She does not plead for sympathy. She does not beg for mercy. She tells the truth. About the silence. About the watching. About the scent of betrayal in her own house. About the feeling of being replaced in her own life by a woman who should have protected her. About love twisted into poison. Her last words echo across the courtroom. I didn't pull the trigger because of love. I pulled it because no one saw me until I was holding a gun. Her last words on the stand weren't about revenge. They were about being erased. Imani Carter is 17 when she becomes a headline. But before the world calls her a killer, she was just a girl trying to feel seen. She thought love meant safety. That when someone smiled at you, it meant something real. That if you gave enough, of your time, your body, your heart, they wouldn't disappear when things got quiet. But no one teaches you what to do when love lies. When it wraps itself in a familiar face and whispers things that don't feel right, but sound too sweet to question. When it crawls into your house and wears your clothes and speaks in the voice of your boyfriend, and your mother. We teach our daughters how to stay soft. How to say sorry even when they're bleeding. But we don't teach them what to do when they're surrounded by people who smile like family and cut like strangers. Latoya was her stepmother. Jaden was her first love. But betrayal doesn't care about roles. It doesn't respect bloodlines or memories or the softness in your voice when you ask someone not to hurt you. It's a blade. And blades don't choose who they cut. Imani didn't wake up wanting to kill. She woke up tired of shrinking. Tired of watching two people she trusted rebuild their lives from the broken pieces of hers. And somewhere, right now, another girl is standing in her hallway. Another girl is ignoring the way her stomach knots when her mother's boyfriend lingers too long. Another girl is staring at a phone that should be ringing but isn't. And she is telling herself what Imani told herself. That it's fine. That she's imagining it. That being kind is safer than being suspicious. That silence is better than confrontation. But silence is a kind of burial. And some girls never come back from it. So maybe it wasn't jealousy. Maybe it wasn't rage. Maybe it was just the final scream of someone who had been invisible for too long. And when that scream echoed through a house that had stopped hearing her, it came out in gunfire. Have you or someone you love ever been betrayed in your own home? Not by a stranger on the street. Not by someone wearing a mask. But by the ones who tucked you in at night. Who smiled at your report cards. Who kissed your forehead and said they'd never hurt you. Have you ever felt eyes on you in a hallway that should have been safe? Heard laughter in the next room that didn't belong to you? Watched two people build a secret out of your pain, and call it love? There are girls like Imani Carter in every neighborhood. In every school. In every quiet house with locked doors and open wounds. Some never speak. Some don't survive. And some, just once, scream loud enough for the world to finally listen. If her story haunted you, if it stirred something quiet in your chest, then don't look away. Speak. Share. Because your words might save someone else. And if you believe the most terrifying monsters aren't in horror movies, but live right down the hall, then subscribe to Shocking True Crime Saga, where real stories remind us that danger doesn't always knock. Sometimes, it's already inside. And it knows your name.